Kit had died, and he like was so upset about it. And Universal sent him a couple free tickets and let him come back and actually ride in Kit. And I was like, wow, and I go, yeah, that was me. It caught fire on a regular basis, unfortunately. Just like the real one, it was very accurate. What would happen was there'd be a big long line of people wanting to talk to Kit, and they'd get to wait in line. And I was in a hidden room behind, I hate to ruin this for you, Kit was not really talking to you, all right? I was in a little room behind, and I could see you getting in and out of the car. So when the little kid would get in the car, I'd say, oh, that's, and obviously I'd try and do my best William Daniels back then. And that's a great blue shirt you've got on, or whatever. And they're like, Kit knows what color clothes I'm wearing. It's really Kit. And it was just so fun all day long to mess with little kids. But we got to be able to, I got to raise the windows up and down. I'd turn the dash on and off and pop the hood. And people just still to this day amaze me on what a hit it was, because people would stand in line for 2 or 3 hours, and you didn't want to cheat anybody, and each little kid. But the funniest part was you'd see them talk like, Mom, I'm going to ask him this and this and this and this and this, and they'd sit down in the car, and I'm like, my name's Kit, what's yours? And they would just freeze. And I'm like, I'm talking to Kit, I'm talking to Kit. So we're sitting here in Las Vegas, and I had, you probably haven't seen this in a long time, the official, I'm sure you looked at this a long time ago, I had a 5-page handout of the information all about the Knight Rider series, and just because I'm a geek, I've kept it since 1984. Quick, and you can't look at the Knight Rider companion. Where is Michael Knight born? Reno, Nevada. Huh? And I want to compare this against that thing and see how many different facts are going. I was going through some of this stuff today, thinking, I can't believe the braking 70-0 for the car people, 70-0 in 14 feet. What? Michael is a splat on the front windshield, but the car stops. The steering, the brakes. Now let's see who's got the most accurate one. The brakes are electromagnetic hyper vacuum disc brakes. Anybody got those? And the turn radius is 15 feet, but with rocket assist. I wanted Jack up here. Jack spoke earlier. He's one of the stunt drivers. After I was a Battlestar Galactica warrior and the voice of Kit, it was a tough summer. I was running the trams, and I was doing the tours, driving the trams. And one day Knight Rider was taping in the back, and obviously Jack had a little too much time on his hands. And we were going through the back lot in 6 Points, Texas, and I see off in the distance the Knight Rider car heading for us. But not just driving towards us, probably doing about 70 miles an hour. And I'm like, I turned to the guy, I'm like, are we supposed to be out here? Are they filming? And he's like, no, I haven't got a call or anything. And it's headed literally to T-bone the tram, like he's gonna go right through the tram. And I'm like, he's gonna stop, he's gonna turn, he's gonna do something. He's not. Suddenly he goes into a 4-wheel skid right into the side of the tram, and I'm not joking, that close to the tram before the car stopped. Four rows of people are covered with dirt, okay? And I'm just like, well, there's the car from the Knight Rider series. Hey everybody, round of applause. And I literally thought I was gonna lose an entire tram. And the people got off afterwards dusting off their clothes going, is that on some sort of track or something? That was neat, you do that for every tram? I'm like, no, there's a crazy guy named Jack. He works over on that TV show. But I said, yes, that's all on a track. But thanks for all I've had several people come up and go, I think I talked to you. and of course they have to add, when I was 5, which you can leave that part off. But that was a fun summer. Oh, and I have, I will, if anybody wants it, because they said, oh, well, somebody will want your autograph. And I said, that's ridiculous. But I have one photograph of me with Kit. One. And if anybody wants to make a donation to Paul's Make-A-Wish Foundation, I will autograph it to you. Yeah. The guys are
That's Children's Miracle Network. Yeah, we were just joined on the stage by Dennis Braid of Barris Customs, built this Super Pursuit Mode card, and Buzz Bundy did the ski mode. We'll talk with both of you guys in a second. Yes, since Dennis, you have the mic, we want to talk about the Super Pursuit Mode.
Yeah, sure. I worked for George for about 14 years. I did all the sheet metal work out of his shop, built all kinds of cars out there. We built the Batmobile several times and a lot of the other stuff. But I had gotten out of the custom car business when this particular project came along, but George gave me a call up to see if I was interested in attacking the program, and I wasn't really interested. We chatted over a couple of 3 weeks, and then he convinced me to come in and take a look at what he had on his desk, and it wasn't much, I can tell you that. It was just a couple of 3 or 4 drawings on there, like little renderings. And normally with a project like this, you'd have full plans, measurements, all scaled out and everything like that. And he convinced me to get involved in the project, and I thought that we'd have about 4 or 5 months to put it all together. There was 4 vehicles actually, the pursuit vehicle, and he said we've got like 7.5 to 8 weeks. So it was somewhat of a crash program, so I asked him where all the plans were, and he said, well, there aren't any. And he said, we start off with nothing. So I got some chalk and some string and designed everything out on the garage floor out the back, and we started off from there. And the first thing we did was build the framework for the actual camera car that they used to show Michael getting in and out of the car, the very close-ups of the dash. And if you remember that the hard top on the car actually flipped back as a whole and went into the trunk. And this was back before Mercedes and all the rest of those vehicles were actually building hard top convertibles to go back. So we had to engineer and design that kind of a mechanism, basically with pencil and paper on the garage floor. So it was somewhat challenging. But then we got into all the special effects on the vehicle that had to actually work. And keep in mind that back in those days, we're going back a few years, we didn't have the special effects, all the computerized things that go on. Everything had to actually work. So I grabbed the pickup truck out of the back of the shop and headed off to the local hydraulics supply place and bought about 1/2 ton of rams and hoses and everything else, and started bolting things together and cutting up about 3 tons of steel and welding things together. And we got the pursuit vehicle so that when you flip the switches, simultaneously all the wings came out and at high speed to slow the vehicle down. The rockets worked, and the nose came out in front and separated and punched holes in things and all the trick stuff. And luckily we got it all done. It was a fun project, and I'm glad everybody here enjoyed it. It was a fun thing. Thank you. Enjoy the day.
Ron's got one comment on all this.
Well, a couple of just additional things that brought to mind. Jim and I go back a long way, and yes, it's amazing I can only be 5 years old and do kung fu. But anyway, Jim still has a nice butt.